Buongiorno and welcome to episode number 5. Hold up, why am I doing an Italian accent again? I actually do not know. But my best friend is half Italian, so I'm allowed to do it. Anyways, last time I promised an exciting episode, and here we are back again with the fighter challenge, leveling a fighter from level 1 to level 20 without a death and without using player trading or the in-game merchants. Viewers of the last episode know that I tried out the Swift perk and noticed that with my light armor it only increases my movement speed from 90 to 91%. But unfortunately, after the last game of last episode, there were some server issues. And once I finally got back in, I was so excited to get back into the game, still I completely forgot about changing my perk. My inventory and gear is starting to look very good here, having a ton of heals and quite a lot of good gear pieces already. But yeah, without further ado, we are getting into the next game. And get the south side spawn on the map here. And I do like this spawn quite a lot. I only have to clear these two goblins and then I can make my way right towards the protection shrine and the cabinets with the loose loot. Goblins are falling really quick at this point, having acquired quite a lot of gear with bonus strength and bonus damage. There's a spawn point right down there, so I have to be careful about encountering another player here, and it also tends to be somewhat of a hotspot for early game PvP, as everyone who knows about this spot tends to want in on this action. Now at first I think nobody has actually spawned here, but I see an open door there, so whoever has spawned there just apparently has ignored the protection shrine and the loose loot. I'm probably not a very experienced player of the caves. Yeah, as I turn around here I almost get hit by the goblin mage shooting his little missile at me. But we managed to avoid it, and it's now time to clear out the rest of this PvE. Having killed those, the first thing I go for is the protection shrine. Just want to be prepared in case any other player action comes my way right at the start of the game. And one of the mummies has a little bandage for me, very nice, and there's also a shield potion around the corner. Usually when you go here you tend to get at least a potion or two, if nothing else. Oh, and actually a blue ring and a blue valuable as loose loot. The blue ring could actually be an upgrade potentially, although I do think it's as a ring of survival it tends not to have the best chance. I believe that main stat on that is resourcefulness, which is not priority for me. I hear some wet slapping sounds indicating someone is actually walking barefooted behind me somewhere. Waste no time using a protection potion and I'm going in for the action right away. But we end up missing each other a few times. I do connect 2 hits here though and take 1 hit myself taking out the shield potion, but on the very next hit the cleric falls. And let's check out if there's anything nice. A green healing potion, don't mind if I do. And the golden rule that I established last episode of needing 3 hits to kill a not super geared player holds true once again. Now I'm making my way towards the middle room while using some healing potions to get my health back up, in the hopes of finding a skeleton champion and maybe even a nice purple upgrade. As usual I have to clear out the little bugs first of all. There's actually a red bug, which I'm not actually sure, I have not really established if they tend to drop better loot than the normal ones, but they definitely are a bit beefier, a bit faster and take a little longer to kill. Yeah, the skeleton champion is here, and I kill the bug first as I engage the skeleton champion. Should be fairly fast at killing them by now. But unfortunately take a hit from the shield, so I'm not playing as carefully as I should. And here in this room, of course, it's super easy to just keep kiting them over the traps, where they will just die eventually by themselves, without you actually having to hit them. So if you wanted, you could really just kite them and stay out of reach and not even have to hit them, and just wait for them to die from the traps. And, well, what else can happen, like it happened there, is that the skeleton champion actually takes out his friends. The skeleton champion actually drops a purple crossbow, and that's a beast of a weapon. Not only would it allow me to drop the weapon mastery perk in the future and use another perk instead, since the crossbow is a fighter weapon and I do not need the weapon mastery to wield it unlike a bow, but it's also got just insane amount of damage, and while it has got quite a slow reload speed, every single bolt from this crossbow is gonna cause a lot of damage. Like some classes will even die from a single headshot in their starter gear, which is quite insane for a ranged weapon. Now, as I'm clearing out the rest of this room, I hear some noises from behind me and take out the last bug real quick before turning around and spying a barbarian coming around the corner. I see he's wielding a felling axe, which can be a very dangerous weapon, and I will have to play it quite carefully. It doesn't have much reach, but it has very fast attack speed for a two-hander, and so I use my shield potion and engage, but unfortunately take a hit as I actually underestimated the range. As I don't notice at first that I was hit by Achilles strike, which deals persistent damage. If you move, I keep just moving around and losing a ton of HP here. Disengage a little bit and harass on range. I messed up in the close quarter engagement here. We use some healing potions and have time to regenerate a bit of my HP before re-engaging. And the barbarian chases me here through the tunnel but gets hit by a trap. Pull out my newly acquired purple crossbow, hit him once in the chest and he's just gone. Oh my god, this crossbow is dirty. I do not feel like I particularly outskilled this player, although the results speak for themselves, right? No, just kidding, but like... The mistake the barbarian made was like chasing me, running into the trap and then just standing there while I pull out my crossbow and assist him into the afterlife. Now, unfortunately I noticed that I do not actually have any bolts for the crossbow, which is a bit of a problem. I do need to find some bolts to keep using the crossbow, so I'm forced to go back to the bow. However, this one shot from the crossbow definitely already paid off. But it's now my top one priority to find some bolts to be able to keep using this amazing weapon. Now I'm just having a bit of a look around, see if I can spot any other players or hear any other noises from anywhere. In the kill feed though, we can see that 8 players have already fallen and at most one other player could still be around somewhere. Now I make my way up the ramp where I will have to take out some elite spiders. Of course, against spiders, usually you can't just jump and they will not be able to hurt you. Also, a weird thing that tends to happen is that you kind of get stuck on top of the spiders, just hopping around and hopping around. But as I break these vases here, I find some bolts and oh my god, I'm super happy to see that. The crossbow is back on the menu, boys. Let's go. And now I'm really hoping that the one last potential player is still in the dungeon somewhere, because I do want to use my crossbow. Now I do hear someone using a shield potion right behind the door over there, and so I use my own shield potion and take out my crossbow. Fire one bolt and... Oh my god. This thing is disgusting, like, the fighter just died through the shield potion from one single bolt. And if you look at the kill feed, it wasn't even a headshot apparently. I did believe that I hit the head, but apparently not. But this crossbow just deals so much goddamn damage, it's just enough. Regardless of that. Yep, that was definitely the last player, so... So now we are all alone in the caves. Oh. Engage the player and pull out my crossbow to try to connect the hit. Connect a nice little hit to the chest, taking out the shield from the player, and I see him wielding a war maul, one of the slowest weapons in the game. And as I take the first hit, I see that I will probably win this engagement by just staying in and finishing the job real quick. Now this was an engagement I could have played better for sure, because getting hit by a war maul at all is just not really necessary. But hey, I was able to out DPS the player regardless. So now I'm just using a surgical kit to get my health back up to full, just in case any angry goblin is waiting around the corner. And because I want to loot the player while the zone is already coming in. Let's see, some healing potions, bandages and shield potions, very nice to get. The jewelry didn't seem super interesting, and the other armor pieces don't seem very strong. I did not expect any player to be left here, but was surprised by one last player. Oh my god, have my kill feed calculations been wrong this entire time? I am not sure, but I'm just gonna quickly open the portal, shake my head at the skeleton archer. Not today, friend, not today. And I escape. No, unfortunately, after that game, or during this entire time, the Dark and Darker servers were getting DDoSed, and once I was able to reconnect, unfortunately, my loot and especially the crossbow from that game had disappeared.
You'll always be with me. And you'll always be my brother.
Well, regardless of this very sad fact, the show must go on as I queue up into the next game. Once again, forgetting to change the Swift perk and just using one of my perk slots on a whopping 1% movement speed. Not being very optimal, but it's fine. In the pregame lobby, I spot a starter gear fighter named Murdoch Smasher and nodded him in respect. If this player is friendly in the lobby, I will probably spare him, as the name Murdoch Smasher is just kind of endearing to me. And we spawn into the game in the northwestern corner here. Not exactly my favorite spawn, but it's fine. My plan being to just make my way across the northern edge of the map and try to get to the northeastern room, where there is always a shrine spawn as well. Start by taking out some of these little dragonflies and goblins. Now these goblins usually aggro, so I have to clear them out as well. And wow, I did not expect to get hit there, but the goblin mage actually just hits me with his weird projectile while I'm hiding behind the corner. Oh, with an inventory full of bandages and healing potions at this point, it's not the end of the world. Reorganize my inventory a little bit. I like to have easy access to shield potions and throwables whenever I need them in combat. And I make my way to the northern room in the middle. No, just engaging the goblin run in front of me without really checking my corner, and another goblin sneaks up from behind me, and actually they get a bunch of hits off on me, which was definitely not very well played from me. I know that there's goblins around the right corner if you go through the door there, so I should have not just blindly engaged the goblin right ahead, but fortunately, once again, with this amount of heals and also this amount of gear and health pool that I have at this point, it's not too big of an issue. But it could have been a dangerous situation if a player was close by. But once I'm healed back up, I make my way back to the room to take revenge. And now I finally have arrived at my destination, this shrine that I've been trying to get to. We're getting harassed by PvE. Now, as I get through the door, I see on my right some other player who is actually crouching at me and seems to be friendly apparently, but I'm not having none of it as I take the shrine and then proceed to engage. And the player knows what's up as he also popped the shield potion. And I see he's wielding a Zweihander, which I should be quite favored against. And yep, I managed to get 2 hits in while dodging all of the opponent's hits, and definitely having a clear advantage now. I decide to just commit until the player is dead. Considering I also have the protection shrine up, I'm really not too worried here about potentially losing this fight. Purple Zweihander, wow. Well, if it was a good weapon, I would be interested, but the purple Zwei goes into the inventory and will unfortunately probably not be used. The rest of the player's gear is not starter gear, but also not really an upgrade for me. So I proceed to heal up with some healing potions. Sit down for a little bit to regen some more HP and see if I can find more action in this game. No, around the corner I saw a little shield potion there, so I'm definitely gonna pick that one up. The green one, very nice. I tend to just use the best shield potion in my inventory whenever I can. And here, by fighting the goblin, I get hit again by a goblin mage. By his weird bouncy projectile, and I was not really prepared for hitting me there. And I hear footsteps from another player around the corner, so not the best situation here. I try to create some distance and use some healing potions to get my health back up as quick as possible here. And keep listening to the player's footsteps as they come closer and closer. And use a shielding potion to get ready to engage. This player looks quite geared, so I'm a bit worried about this fight, but he just keeps killing the goblin, not even caring about me hitting him, and I don't know, I've connected like 4 or 5 hits, but he actually hurts quite a bit, so I'm a bit worried here, but I think the player is somewhat low, but like 5 hits later he's still not taking any damage, and this player is like a complete tank, he is just not dying, and I get taken down super low here, but I managed to barely make it out of the situation alive. Here, a crossbow shot flying very close to me and barely managed to avoid it. Trade some more hits with the player since I assume him to be very low at this point, but unfortunately this time I don't make it out before dying, and I was like screaming and yelling like, why are you not dead? And as I spectate the player, I see that he's still got like almost 3/4 of his HP. Looking at his character sheet, yep, 95% physical damage reduction fighter. No, that was something I was not really prepared for in this situation, to be honest. Like, the only actual way I had of surviving or winning the fight was by just running away and escaping from this particular game. Since as a fighter myself, I actually have no way of getting through a 95% physical damage reduction fighter. A lot of other classes have abilities or perks that allow them to pierce some armor, or have some way of dealing magical damage. However, me as a fighter, I just have no such things, so encountering a geared out player like that is quite unfortunate. And you can't really get gear like that without using the in-game markets, without using player trading, since you basically need bonus armor, bonus physical damage reduction on every single piece. But yeah, in retrospective, after about the 11th hit on that player, I probably should have realized that this is like a 95% physical damage reduction fighter build, and tried to somehow get out of this game while avoiding the player. Oh well, lessons learned. If you see a super geared fighter in full plate that just does not care about you hitting them, don't try to force it. But this fighter unfortunately bites the dust at level 13. And that does it for this season of the One Life Challenge. I hope you enjoyed the run so far, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video and leaving a comment down below. Peace out.